What would you do if someone told you that the person you are today is the result of a journey that took over 6 million years? Not a journey across a country, not across a continent, a journey across time so vast that if you compressed all of human evolution into a single day, everything you recognize as modern civilization would appear only in the final 2 seconds before midnight. Most people assume humans simply appeared, that we were always roughly this intelligent, this capable, this complex. But the truth is far more extraordinary and far more surprising. Stay till the end, because the final transformation that turned ancient humans into modern humans is not what most people expect, and it changes everything about how you see yourself. Let's begin. Imagine standing 6 million years ago in what is now East Africa. The creature standing in front of you walks upright. Mostly. It has hands that can grip things, a face that shows emotion, eyes that watch the world with something resembling curiosity. But it is not human. Not yet. It is something in between. A branch point. A beginning. And from this uncertain starting place, something extraordinary is about to unfold over millions of years. The first and most critical transformation was walking upright. When our earliest ancestors began spending more time on 2 legs rather than 4, everything changed. Standing upright freed the hands. Freed hands meant objects could be carried, weapons could be made, food could be brought back to a group instead of eaten on the spot. This one physical change set off a chain reaction that would eventually produce every human achievement in history. Walking upright was not just a physical upgrade. It was the first step toward civilization itself. But walking upright created a problem. A big one. Moving on, 2 legs requires a narrower pelvis. A narrower pelvis means a smaller birth canal. A smaller birth canal means human babies had to be born earlier in their development than almost any other animal on Earth. And this one biological compromise changed everything about what it means to be human. Because human babies born helpless need years of care. And years of care require permanent communities. Permanent communities require cooperation. And cooperation requires communication. So the narrowness of the human pelvis is, in a very real sense, one of the reasons human language eventually developed. One physical change millions of years ago created a cascade that eventually produced words, stories, culture, everything. Now the brain. Because the transformation of the human brain is perhaps the most dramatic biological story ever told. 6 million years ago, our ancestors had brains roughly the size of a chimpanzee's, about 400 cubic centimeters. Over the following millions of years, that brain grew. Slowly at first, then faster, then explosively. By the time fully modern humans appeared roughly 300,000 years ago, the human brain had tripled in size. No other organ in the history of life on Earth has grown that fast in evolutionary terms. And as the brain grew, something remarkable began to happen inside it. The regions responsible for social thinking, planning, language, and imagination became extraordinarily developed. Ancient humans did not just become smarter at surviving. They became capable of something entirely new. They became capable of imagining things that did not exist, of planning for futures that had not happened, of creating meaning from experiences, of asking why. But brain size alone did not make modern humans. Because for hundreds of thousands of years, humans with brains nearly as large as ours lived in the world without producing art, without creating complex tools, without building lasting social structures. Something else was needed. And about 70,000 years ago, something happened that researchers call the cognitive revolution. Nobody knows exactly what triggered it. It may have been a genetic change affecting brain wiring. It may have been a cultural accumulation reaching a critical threshold. But whatever caused it, human behavior changed almost overnight in evolutionary terms. Suddenly, humans were creating art, making jewelry, burying their dead with ceremony, trading objects across hundreds of kilometers, building boats, crossing oceans, planning hunts months in advance, telling stories that preserved knowledge across generations. It is as if a switch flipped somewhere inside the human mind, and the creature that had been surviving for millions of years suddenly began creating. And then came the final transformation, the one most people never think about. language. Not just communication, which animals have in many forms, but symbolic language, the ability to assign meaning to sounds and share those meanings with other minds. Language allowed ancient humans to do something that had never been possible before. It allowed one person's experience to live inside another person's mind. A hunter who had died could still teach. A discovery made in one location could spread to people who had never visited that place. And suddenly the accumulated knowledge of thousands of years could be passed from generation to generation without a single thing needing to be rediscovered. Language made culture possible. Culture made civilization possible. And civilization made you possible. After watching this video, you now understand something remarkable. You did not simply appear. You are the result of 6 million years of relentless biological and cognitive transformation. Every time you walk upright, your skeleton carries the solution to a problem solved millions of years ago. Every time you use language, you are using a technology that turned isolated individuals into a collective species capable of crossing oceans, building cities, and asking questions about the universe. Ancient humans did not become modern humans in a single moment. They became modern humans one impossible transformation at a time, and the journey is not finished. It never was.